Hey, been a long time since I do another movie review. So in this video, we're gonna take a look at the latest Martin Scorsese movie, Killers of the Flower Moon. So back in the COVID era, while he was working on The Irishman,
Martin was reading this book with a similar title as this movie, which inspired him to make a film adaptation of it because he believes that this true story covers his natural interest in humanity's evil corruption.
Was given the book and read the book, and I was very excited by that. I didn't quite know how to go about it. Eric Roth and I went through a process of a few years of pulling the script together and the story, and there were some wonderful things.
The story took place in the 1920s, telling an unsettling true story about this indigenous nation called the Osage, which got famously rich by discovering oil in their barren wasteland settlement that's been given to them by the government, because
at first they thought the land wasn't worth a penny.
naturally, smelling all those riches from far away, not long after, many Europeans start settling in and try to snuggle themselves into the community. So, since then, the Native Americans weren't actually really allowed to reap their profit from the oil money because there was this racist system that prohibited them from doing autonomous economic distribution amongst themselves.
So they have to attain their fortune from the local government, whose position is mostly being filled by the white people.
Also, according to the system, inherently, all the oil right allowance comes from the female side of the family.
That's when the story began to get disturbing.
Many female Osage residents started to suspiciously fall one by one in a short period of time. The whites started to marry the Osage woman solely to pursue their own ambitions.
Okay, so now let's jump off what I think about the movie. De Niro and DiCaprio are no doubt the highlight of the star, but I also want to give a huge credit to Lily Gladstone.
Who really embedded her role. She really immersed herself in the character and being able to show a lot of conceived emotion through her eyes.
All of the cast are really dedicated to their roles. They even took an approach on a whole new upscale level to level up their games and did their homework very splendidly.
DiCaprio even learned how to speak like a native with a very bad American accent, just to add more icing on the cake. De Niro's character is my favorite amongst all. He captures vividly human hypocrisy, sly manipulation, and just isn't the type of guy you want to mess up with.
I'm gonna give my respect to Martin Scorsese for keeping this as authentic as possible from the overall themes.
I can see clearly that the intention of this movie wasn't just to tell a story, but rather to ask the audience to join in the first-hand experience of interacting with the native themselves. It feels like what the movie is trying to provide here is a fresh breed that's been born between Martin Scorsese's usual trademark in his previous movies and his genuine attention to lift up a story that's been tragically forgotten by humanity as an impact of downward ignorance and greed.
To be honest, even though this is a Western genre type of films, but I'm not gonna lie, I still feel like this is a regular Martin Scorsese's gangster movie. I don't know why.
From the dialogue, the tense building story progression, and even the way that the characters are adapted. I don't know, maybe because that imagery is already inseparable from him or what, but in this case, it matches the tone perfectly. It elevates the horrid element of dreadful tragedy. So in a way, the movie tries to show us inward from the eye of the natives about the hardships that they encounter. From the depiction of our main character, we've been stuck along with a lot of screen time. There are no enough words to express how masterfully Robbie Robertson is executing the scoring here. As soon as I listened to it, I got chilled. The chord progression wasn't really remarkable, but what I meant to say was that the chords were straightforward.
Yet still had the perfect emotional impact. It's also important to note the visual.
which uses a lot of slow motion to draw the viewer in and heighten the emotional effect of a scene. Beautifully executed color grading, camera angle, and shots are all involved.
The production design wasn't a joke either.
They really took care of everything, even the last minute details like the costume, cars, town, and everything. They even hire real Osage people to portray an entire town to maintain its authenticity.
Overall, I think this is and will be a legendary movie, adding more incredible credits to Mr. Martin Scorsese's film career. Other than Oppenheimer, I think this is my new favorite films of 2023. I learned a lot from this movie, and I also enjoy watching it, which is also count for something for the entertainment factors. And I'm gonna rate Killers of the Flower Moon a perfect score at 10 out of 10. I hope you enjoy my video review and see you soon.